only 7.6% of the respondents work for the government. And so of those that worked in the industries, most of them, 54.4%, worked for large corporations. 61.3% of those worked as staff. So that kind of gives you a little background of who participated, at least in the surveys. There is a list of major employers, and I was going to read it, but I'm deciding not to. It's pretty extensive, but it's on page 64 of the full report. The first three, Wells Fargo, 11,900, Principal Finance Group, 7,094, and Iowa Health is at 6,873. So those are some of the major employers. They also talked about the different types of people who lived in Des Moines, the Des Moines area, metro area. Homegrown people who were born here, stayed here, went to school here, tended not to leave. Then the boomeranger, people who were born here, grew up here, went out to the world to either work or get educated or to travel and then returned. And then the transplant, people who are not from here, weren't born from here, but relocated here from other places, either for school, as a trailing spouse, or for education reasons. And so they did ask the question of why do people stay in the Des Moines area? And the primary responses were for family, education, and for jobs. All right, and so the results are interesting. This is what people said about the city of Des Moines. I'm extracting just a little bit in terms of what we cover at Blue.Green.Fusion. There's a whole complement of responses, but I'm focusing on certain areas. Again, the full report is at the website. According to the respondents, Des Moines Public Schools declined in performance, likely due to brain drain and then property tax drain to the suburbs. There's high-performing colleges here, specifically Drake, ranked pretty high, higher than the others. There's concerns about pre-K funding, and then commercial taxes are a concern for business development. And there's also concern that Wells Fargo and Aviva relocated from the downtown area to West Des Moines, leaving a pretty large gap of vacant office space downtown, over 1 million square feet. They also mentioned the well-marked Blue Cross and Blue Shield that relocated from the core of downtown to the Western Gate. But the Western Gateway is basically still downtown, so I'm not sure why they put those in the well-marked Blue Cross and Blue Shield in the same category. But anyway, the direct result of sprawl, which I've mentioned before on the show, is created by active steering of new industries and retail away from the downtown area of Des Moines to the surrounding suburbs, which is unfortunate because it does leave an impact. The drain, it actually kind of lowers the quality of life in the central part of the city. It destroys the tax base. It does. And that tax base, which has been destroyed or affected in a very negative way, actually degrades our public school system and our public library system, and then some other public entities too. And it creates an uphill battle for public transportation because sprawl creates a lack of population density. And so the solution is to stop adding to the problem, stop driving away industry, stop steering away the population, and start growth measures in a more sustainable fashion. There was a discussion of Portland and Boulder, who have created limits in their city on how much sprawl is possible. They created a little green border beyond which they do not allow any development, and that was their solution. According to a report of the highways and the roads and our interstates are good, 35 and 80. The freight rail is sufficient, although there is a perception by respondents that it is not. Public transportation is inadequate according to college students and young professionals who have difficulty getting around the city. And then part of the solution may lie in the new transit hub. Passenger rail is on a razor's edge, and that's up to the governor, who, as we've seen, is still deciding the issue. Also, the airport, which we've discussed as part of the creation of the airport authority. Also, discussions with City Council, and then interested parties at Des Moines International Airport. According to the respondents, the airport is troubled by high prices and a lack of connections. The solution may lie in airport authority in addition of Southwest Airlines. Most of the population growth in the city is from migration from rural cities in Iowa rather than from out of state. And then the top destinations away from Iowa, people leaving Iowa, are Denver, Phoenix, and Seattle. The respondents showed a very clear appreciation for downtown entities. They were specifically named, such as Wells Fargo Arena, Des Moines Public Library, the Downtown Farmers Market, and the Des Moines Arts Festival, as well as the 8035 Festival. And I have to agree, all these entities do add to the vibrancy of the downtown area. Every once in a while, we'll have an event with this Farmers Market, the Arts Festival, the 8035, that creates a very livable, active, exciting, engaging place in the downtown area, and hopefully there'll be more. Some things that the respondents said are required: more affordable rental and for purchase housing downtown. There isn't a lack of housing downtown. There's a lack of housing at a reasonable price downtown, and so that also lends itself towards not only vacant office space, but also vacant living space too as well.